Welcome one and all to the CineGeeks podcast where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. I'm Roy, once again joined by my lovely co-host Angela.
Hi.
Hi Angela. And hello to all of our fellow CineGeeks out there listening today to this second episode of a special 3-episode series that we're doing. Once again, if you haven't listened to our last episode, we are in the middle of a stretch where we watch all 10 movies which are in contention in the 2023 Cinemalaya Film Festival.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. Day 2.
Day 2. So, ngayong araw na to, after watching 3 movies yesterday, we watched 3 more today.
Yes.
Okay? And right off the bat, without giving much away, I can say na ibang klaseng lineup yung meron ng Cinemalaya this year.
Oo,
Kasi
grabe.
talagang kanina ramdam ko yung sarili ko na I was buzzing.
Yes, literally buzzing.
Oo, talagang I've never felt this excited and hopeful for the future of Filipino cinema. And siguro din kasi parang me feeling that way ngayon lang. I'll be the first one to take responsibility for that. Na I am honestly going to say right now na with the exception of OTJ, almost 10 years ago,
Oo.
I never really gave Philippine cinema much thought. I mean,
Yeah.
kasi parang ang preconception ko is it's just endless rom-coms and comedy na filler na pang film festival, Metro Manila Film Festival lang, na wala akong mahanap na of substance. Na kasi kahit yung mga sinasabing of substance, parang medyo nakukulangan din pa ako before. Pero ngayon,
Faith in Philippine cinema restored.
yes, very much so. And after watching 5 narrative films and 1 documentary, talagang I can safely say na I am fully on board with Philippine cinema moving forward. And ikaw, what did you think about day 2?
Day 2 was a proper build up for the end of our day. We started off from light to heavy.
Parang ganun.
Subject material.
Nag-escalate
Yes.
yung tama sa puso.
Maganda yung pagka-program nitong pagkakasunod-sunod nung
Nung araw
films for today kasi hindi ka mauubos kaagad dun sa first movie.
Hindi. Talaga.
Yeah, and there's more time to recover. Mas may interval na mas mahaba compared to yesterday.
True. Oo.
Well, I think that's just because the first movie was a bit shorter.
Medyo parang around mga 90 to 100 minutes yung length ng mga ngayon.
Is that the shortest film?
I mean, shortest was 95 minutes. 95, tas may 105, tas may 90. Mga medyo maiksi lang. Kasi yung yesterday...
One of the shortest.
Yung yesterday kasi, alam ko yung duyan na magiting was almost 2 hours lang. So medyo yung naging, yung quote-unquote layover natin from first movie to the second movie, medyo maiksi. Kasi nga, medyo, talagang saktuhan ba? Yung pagkakaano ng oras.
Mahirap talaga pag connecting flights eh.
Kailangan mong habulin talaga, tatakbuhin mo. Anyway, here are the 3 films that we watched today, which we will be talking about tonight as we record this after day 2.
Yeah.
Okay. First is Rookie, directed by Samantha Lee, written by Nats Hadaune. And next is Iti Mapukpukaw, written and directed by Carl Joseph Papa.
Okay.
And finally, As If It's True, directed by John Rogers, written by John Rogers and Shane David. Okay. So let's start off right away with our first movie, Rookie. Everything changes when an awkward teenager joins the volleyball team and falls for the volleyball team captain. Cast includes Pat Tingjoy, Aya Fernandez, and Agot Isidro. If I'm not mistaken, lumabas dun sa credits kanina that this was Pat's first starring role.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So,
Introducing her.
yes.
Yeah.
So, Ange, what did you think of Rookie?
It was, well, ang general thought ko lang nun is parang ang sarap maging high school ulit. Yun yung general emotion ko while watching it. And, our cinema was fairly full.
Yeah.
Ang daming mga, I would guess, students. And nakakatuwa kasi yung cinematic experience niya watching the film with them. Nakakatuwa lang na, ayun, yung kilig moments, I think it's telling their story. And, yeah, it follows all the classic rom-com tropes and coming of age then. It knows itself, the movie. And it's very proud of its identity. It's not pretending to be something it's not. And it followed through up until the end. This is like, parang, ang dating sa akin, it's a fairy tale. High schoolers' fairy tale, so to speak. How about you? What did you think about the movie?
Well, yes, I totally agree with your observation na this felt like a throwback, kumbaga, to how things felt nung high school tayo. Yung ganon.
Mga first crush.
Yung mga first crush, yung mga first love, ganyan. Yung mga puppy love. Yung mga talagang kapag nakita mo si crush, parang, sana ako yung katabi niya maglakad. Parang ganon. Yung mga ganon siya. And I also agree na you said na it felt like a fairy tale. Sobrang dream-like nung kanyang kwento. Sobrang paano ba to? Ayoko naman sabihin kasing simple or mababaw. Hindi eh. Meron kasi siyang, may heart siya eh. May depth din siya talaga eh. Pero it chooses to go about its narrative with this bounciness and lightness to it.
It felt very light. Yun yung parang ang gaang sa pakiramdam panoorin to.
Now, ako, sige, I will be the first one to say, not just to add to that na yung sinabi mo na our theater earlier today was actually almost full.
Yes.
Talaga. Sobrang, alam mo, ito, sige. Before I move forward with what I thought could have been better sa Rookie, I am going to first give it props for being a very crowd-pleasing movie.
Yeah.
And I will put this up there with one of the more enjoyable movie-going experiences I've had in my life. Na talagang
parang alam ko na to.
Sobrang, syempre, iba yung gold standard pa rin natin of movie-going. Talagang, yun, Hall of Fame yung Avengers Endgame. Wala tayong doon. Knowing that you're watching this film with, I would assume maliban na sa parang yung mga kids na were still in high school, yung mga ganon. With this movie being volleyball-centric. And I'm sorry if I don't know kung sino yung mga parang volleyball stars na lumabas bigla doon.
Pero just surmising from their reactions, mean na parang, okay, this is somebody.
No, parang yung dun sa scene na nagpunta si Ace.
Our lead character,
si Ace. And si Jana. Yan. Played by Aya Fernandez. Okay. When they were sent to a volleyball camp to learn to hone their skills. Yung ganun. Nung lumabas yung parang mga coaches doon sa volleyball camp, as in talagang nagtilian lahat ng mga nasa katabi natin. Ano naman parang, okay, ano ba siya?
Mga fandom.
Oo, parang silang, eto ba yung mga, parang nasa PVL ba sila? Mga players sila doon sa Philippine Volleyball League. Parang ganon. And I would assume na they are. Tapos, syempre, yung, may isa pang lumabas later on. I am not gonna spoil it kung sino.
But we recognized her.
Yes, she's a very recognizable face of the Philippine volleyball scene. Lumabas siya, and ako din, parang ako, ay, siya.
Everybody cheered.
Yes, talaga lumabas siya. Ganun. So, you're right when you said na the movie knows its audience. The movie knows how to make the audience swoon. Alam niya kung paano talagang kilitiin.
True yan. That's the word. Kilitiin.
Kiliting-kiliti yung audience
yun,
natin kanya
yung
talaga.
na-capture nitong movie niya.
And siguro it's enough to parang siguro outweigh the things that I thought the movie could have improved on with yung how
the heart
and yung how it touched the audience. Yung ganung sobrang nilang kilig na kilig.
So ito yung pwede kong best to describe it is a feel good movie.
Yes, for the most part.
Until that one
may
sequence
ito lang sa akin okay? Ito lang yung sa akin doon. Okay? Yesterday, we talked about Huling Palabas. Okay? Another LGBT-centric coming-of-age tale.
Okay.
Okay? Now, doon sa movie na yon, and this is just comparing. Okay? Yung kanyang premise, it stuck to its guns.
Yes.
As in talagang hindi siya nagkaroon ng extraneous na parang mga narrative na dinagdag, additives, gano'n.
Yes.
It didn't have to have conflict. And I said yesterday na sometimes life is like that. Life is about
just being.
Okay? Now, I understand na that subplot, okay, was yung we were talking about it earlier and you pointed it out to me na it's a truth. It's happening. It's something na these young women have to go through, unfortunately. Even if they think na they're in safe spaces. May mga nangyayari pa rin ganun. Okay? I am not invalidating or diminishing yung mga experiences ng mga victims of that kind of treatment. My only thing was, with this film, okay, that entire subplot felt like something out of a very different movie altogether.
Yung tone whiplash.
Yung tonal whiplash niya, tama. Sobrang parang napaka-light, buoyant, and bouncy nung love story natin. Yung puppy love, yung meet cute nila, yung asaran nila nung una, tapos biglang ganun. Tapos bigla tayo magkakaroon ng parang biglang tumatakbo at 100 kilometers per hour yung kotse mo, tapos bigla mong hinila yung handbrake. So biglang, okay, yes, it took me a bit out of the movie. Now, I think na, not necessarily think, I understand na this movie is trying to hopefully accomplish being representative of the entire women's volleyball experience dito sa Pilipinas. Pero kasi nag-commit tayo doon, yung parang commitment o pagkapakilala nung scene sa simula is about Ace transitioning into volleyball from basketball because of a crush. Yun yung kanyang impetus niya to become a volleyball player.
And to be accepted into this new school na bagong transfer lang siya.
Exactly. Na in love siya and she wants to earn the love of her crush and the respect of her peers dun sa new school.
Yes.
And that's it. That's it.
That should be it.
Yun na lang sana eh. Wala na akong problema dun eh. Pero yung biglang ganun na, tapos ito pa yung medyo sa akin lang, medyo nakulangan din pa ako in terms of yung writing. Okay? Naging hand-wavy na lang yung resolution nung issue na yon.
True.
Na parang, kasi ang pagkakapakilala dun sa character na yon, yung nag-perpetrate nung atrocities na yun. Inaanak nung coach ng volleyball team. We si Agot Isidro.
Yes.
Okay? Now, shouldn't that have hit harder kay Agot? Knowing that her godson is a perv? Hindi ba dapat mas lalo siyang parang, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I should have known better.
Where's the accountability?
Hindi naman pwedeng laging ang accountability na nahihingin natin sa mga ganyang bagay. Yung kung sino lang yung gumawa ng krimen. Okay? Kung merong tao na dapat may ginawa at walang ginawa at wala siyang awareness doon sa nangyari, dapat meron ding accountability na nanggagaling mula doon. But, yun nga, it felt hand-wavy na parang, nag-sorry na si coach, sige, let's move on.
And ayun nga it's a serious enough subject matter na if that's the story you wanna tell, just give it enough importance to tell it.
Oo.
Nang yun yung kwento.
Oo.
Yun yung front and center.
Ay, ako,
Hindi siya parang afterthought.
Yes. I mean, me personally, if that was the story of a separate movie altogether, that would be very compelling. Para siyang bombshell. Alam mo yung sila Margot Robbie and sila Charlize Theron.
Yes.
Para siyang,
And also parang yung Spotlight.
yes, pwedeng ganun. Parang pwedeng gawan ng based on a true story narrative, kung meron mang nag-investigate, yung ganun. Make it na ganun. Pero don't
make it a subplot.
Yes, kasi making it a subplot is a disservice to the victims of these kinds of atrocities. Na parang naging naging token sila, na parang token conflict sila.
Tapos gano'n na lang na resolve, no?
Ang resolve, they resolved it by committing a crime itself. They assaulted the guy. So parang ganun din, so yun din pa, yung parang resolution niya, na if a crime is committed against you, commit a crime against them. What?
Well.
Parang, is that the message that the film is trying to espouse? Kasi ako, for the rest of the film, I know it's not for me. Okay, I'm of the older demographic kumpara dun sa talagang nagtitilian kanina. Pero I appreciated how earnest, how it wore its heart on its sleeve.
Yes.
Talaga, sobrang proud siya na ganun yung kanyang identity.
And unapologetic nga kaya
yes.
Nakakatuwa
Oo. Diba sabi ko siya kanina yung parang may scene sa prom. Sila ni Jana tsaka ni Ace. Sabi ko sa'yo, pag nag-kiss tong dalawang to, puputok tong sinihan na to.
Yeah.
Sure enough, nag-kiss sila na dalawa.
Sobrang crowd pleasing niya talaga.
Yay! Nakuha ni Ace. Woo! So, ikaw, any last thoughts for Rookie?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sige.
Alright. Ito naman, this movie is what we were asking of pagdating sa ganon.
Magsa-stretching lang muna ako para dun sa dalawang susunod. Kasi,
pagdating dun sa serious subject matter na talagang binigyan mo ng sobrang delicate treatment.
Yes.
Yun talaga yung with delicate treatment and respect. Dun sa seriousness niya. Okay. And just a little backgrounder on the movie. Iti Mapukpukaw, or The Missing, tells of a story of the arrival of a familiar alien untangles a mouthless young man's memories.
Yes.
And the cast stars Carlo Aquino, Gio Gahol, and of course, the one and only Dolly De Leon.
Yes. BAFTA nominee, Golden Globe nominee, dapat Academy Award nominee, Dolly De Leon.
Yes.
If you're listening, Dolly, we love you, Dolly.
We love you so much.
Love you so much. Anyway, go.
Let me just start with Dolly and her agent really knowing their thing. Kapag pumipili sila ng role, talagang grabe, ang galing. Walang tapon sa filmography niya.
So far dun sa dalawang Dolly movies natin sa Cinemalaya, 2 for 2. Walang tapon.
Oo, ang galing. Ang galing mo, madam. Ikaw na. Anyway.
Wala na. Masa-stuck na tayo dito sa magiging Dolly episode na to. Pero sige, go. Okay. Iti Mapukpukaw.
Okay, Roy. What did you think about Iti Mapukpukaw? It's, by the way, Ilocano.
What is it?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. So, yung dialect nila, Carlo Aquino and Dolly De Leon in the movie is Ilocano. Okay. So, that actually makes sense kung bakit parang nakadating na sila agad doon. So, parang pumunta na sila ng Ilocano. Ilocos?
Ilocos.
Okay, sige.
Or Pangasinan.
Pangasinan. Yung ganun. Okay, sige.
Pero hindi, iba yata yung dialect sa Pangasinan.
So, Ilocos. Yung ganun. Okay. What did I think?
Yes.
Of this?
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, go!
Paano ba to? Sobrang creative. Sobrang niyang spellbinding. Sobrang niyang captivating. in the way na a movie, a Studio Ghibli. Here we go again. We're invoking Hayao Miyazaki again.
Yeah.
But I love how our current batch or group of young
This
Filipino
generation of
filmmakers
filmmakers, yes.
are getting the right influences
Mm-hmm.
and putting them in action. So again, this felt like I was watching a Hayao Miyazaki film.
Yeah.
Specifically para siyang Spirited Away.
Mm-mm.
Na gano'n na parang it knows how heavy what it's talking about.
Mm-mm.
What its controlling idea is.
Yes.
Okay? But it tells the story. It tells its narrative in such a way that it pulls you in.
Mm-hmm.
It intrigues you. It makes you hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it breaks your heart.
Mm-mm.
And makes you feel hopeful again.
Yes.
And it does so in such a way na yung quick run through lang siya. Yung kwento niya kasi is about yung character ni Carlo Aquino, si Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, si Eric, he has no mouth. Okay? And by the way, this is a fully animated film. Rotoscope. Okay? Shout out to the crew of this fantastic movie.
Ang galing.
Ang galing talagang give yourselves, everyone, a round of applause and a pat on your back kasi yung rotoscope artists netong and VFX artists netong Iti Mapukpukaw are talagang world class.
Yes, the art style was like a modernized Scanner Darkly.
Parang ganun pa. And
pero mas closer siya to Into the Spider-Verse.
Somewhat. May pagkaganon siya, oo. Pero yung mas favorite kong parts na animated, yung medyo yung simpler pa, yung art style.
Yung pinapakita yung EDSA?
Hindi, yung mga 9 years old version ni Eric.
Okay.
Tapos yung lumalabas yung mga vector nung mga nasa Photoshop na yung part siya talaga nung animation. Na talagang it uses those things. Those are all creative choices eh. Kasi you're looking at someone's memories. You're looking at someone's recollection of things that they wish they never endured. You're looking at someone's experiences. Trauma, exactly. Na kaya parang makikita mo na, ay bakit ganun? Bakit may parang background nung nasa Photoshop na
yung
PNG?
Yung
may transparent PNG Photoshop background. For someone who is parang, ayoko lang sabihin na not well-versed sa ganun, parang sasabihin nila parang, ay ano yan, parang nagkamali ng pag-animate. Hindi eh. Parang nakikita mo na alam mong yung mga parts nung kwento na yon. And eventually kasi may parts nung parang katawan niya na nagiging ganun. Na alam mong nararamdaman mo yung shame niya in recollecting those incidents that contributed to how he sees himself.
Do you know what this also reminds me of?
What?
Para siyang Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Kapag ka binabalikan niya yung memories niya na he wishes he forgot, he forgets, na gusto niyang ibaon sa limot. Nag-a-appear siya na parang blur or parang crossed out yung mga mukha.
Or even yung pagkaka-recollect na lang niya na alien. Ako nung una ko parang okay, is this gonna be a quirky story? Na parang, alien, ganyan. Parang, I was ready to fully buy into a sci-fi story.
Pero yun nga eh.
Pero biglang makita mo na, that's what the alien is. Parang, you feel even more heartbroken for Eric. Knowing na, ayoko sabing stunted, pero yung shinield niya yung kanyang understanding of things because of that traumatic experience. And he buried it under this sheen of things that he understood nung
as
bata pa siya. Oo. Tapos yung eventually makikita mo na parang yung with the help of yung kanyang lover, I would say, yung si Carlo, na
love interest.
Love interest. Yung si Carlo na unpack niya yung trauma niya. And shout out din dun sa pagkakasulat dun kay Carlo. Kasi whenever, ang experience ko is whenever we're dealing with a story that centers on somebody na traumatized or may traumatic past, may punto dun sa scene lagi na biglang i-isolate siya nung kwento. Sometimes to parang give the character agency, na bigla siyang makakahanap ng inner strength na ganyan. Tapos, or sometimes naman, it parang manufactures a feeling of pity from the audience kasi iisipin mo na, ay, nag-iisa na lang siya. Ganun. Hindi Dahil dun sa presence ni Carlo, the love interest of Eric, it felt so much na you knew that he wasn't alone.
And somebody was not judging Eric.
Exactly.
And trying to understand him.
Oo.
O kung ano man yung pinagdadaanan niya. Kasi I love that
yung dynamic nila.
Andun yung parang kindness ni Carlo, first and foremost.
True. Sobra.
Oo. It's just that kahit nga tanggalin mo yung parang romance angle just the kindness of trying to understand this very troubled person. Kasi marami siyang mga episodes na para siyang nagde-dissociate sa reality.
Yes.
And that's very true, in psychology. Kapag you went through a trauma that's bad enough na mabobroken yung psyche mo, tas magdi-dissociate ka altogether. Parang ganun yung nangyayari sa kanya And yung tingin niya dun sa mga elements na yung mga nag-perpetrate nung abuse sa kanya is something else. Parang that's his way of trying to make sense of the trauma that happened to him. And this character, si Carlo, was just there as a friend trying to understand him and not judging him. Kasi, it's very easy to just say na parang, ano nangyayari sa'yo? You're so weird.
Yan. Movies like this always fall into this trope of parang not really demonizing or vilifying pero parang stigmatizing yung mga ganong klaseng individuals na parang ano ba ang weird mo? Parang gago ko ba? Ba't ka ganyan? Pero yung presence ni Carlo na sobrang much needed na stability doon sa character ni Eric. Especially towards the end. Na nung yung, ako medyo, dun I mean, I wouldn't say na parehas kami ng trauma. No, hindi. Pero I have trauma of my own. And nung yung mga ganong times na parang pa siya sa akin, fresh pa yung ganong kung ano yung nararamdaman ko about things in my past na masakit. Na parang natuwa ako kasi and eto sabihin ko lang na it kind of reminded me of how you were there nung yung presence mo. Lalo na nagsisimula pa lang tayo. Na yung kung gaano ka understanding even if you didn't have to be. Yun yung pinakita ni Carlos sa kanya He offered an understanding ear, an understanding shoulder to a person so desperate for stability na nagagalit siya. Siyempre, tao din naman yung character ni Carlo And I'm so glad that they were all written as three-dimensional individuals. Hindi sila stereotypes, hindi sila parang 2D na tao, quote-unquote. Pero they felt like real people. And for him to still be by Eric's side, na willing siyang intindihin
kahit di niya
naiintindihan. Na parang basta alam niya na hindi naman sinasaktan ni Eric yung sarili niya. And alam niya nakakatulong doon sa pag-reconcile ni Eric with his present and his past. Yung isang parang sequence doon sa may bandang patapos na.
Yes.
Na for some people it would be weird. Pero him sinakyan lang niya. And pinakita lang niya na parang, hey, I'm here. Ako na bahala dun sa yung isang yun. Diba? Yung ganun, na parang medyo na emotional ako dun sa part na yun eh. Kasi parang it showed that there are still good people. Willing to be there for people who don't think that there's goodness in the world anymore.
Yun yung realization ko na if there were more people like that who would just show kindness to people struggling to understand themselves kasi hindi rin nila naiintindihan yung nangyayari sa kanila mismo. Parang, ayun, at least those people will not feel so alone.
Yes.
And they can
it's
come through.
Yes.
Come through to the other side na, survive it.
And hopefully
heal from it
with the help of the kindness of love of these people around them. Yan. So I loved how it was a very positive and uplifting tale in spite of its very heartbreaking core. Yun yung sa akin dun. Ikaw?
It did not sensationalize the atrocity.
The subject matter, yes.
And ito ang final thoughts ko na about the movie.
Sige.
It's a masterclass of show, don't tell.
Yes. So true.
I think it benefited the story that the main character does not have a mouth. So we are just watching his thought process. His episodes, yung mga visions niya.
Yung kung paano niya na i-experience in his eyes yung kanyang mga yung paano nagsusurface yung trauma niya. Yung ganun.
And the rotoscope and the art style was really utilized in the best way possible.
I agree.
And of course, the musical scoring just, amplifies the emotion of every scene. Ang ganda ng musical score. Top notch. And I really loved it. It was a very touching tale of owning back control of your life, and getting back the power that's been taken from you by your abuser.
Okay, so that's it for Itimak Pupukaw. Next, on our discussion, okay, our last movie for tonight, and one that I am still to this point raving about is As If It's True.
Yes.
Okay. A fading social media influencer and a struggling musician exploit each other in a not-so-fake relationship. The movie stars Khalil Ramos, Ashley Ortega, Adriana So, John Silverio, Angeli Sanoy, Rachel Coates, and Marnie Lapus. Okay. So, Ange, what did you think of As If It's True?
The movie was very intelligent. I was not expecting it from the logline. I thought it was just a modern take on rom-coms about influencers. And, the typical rom-coms. But it suddenly veered away from that surface level when it addressed everything wrong with the rom-com tropes.
Oo. Yung kung gaano niya binaliktad yung parang kilalang identity ng mga ganong klaseng sine. Akala mo na para siyang yung meet cute ganon. Tapos biglang we go another level deeper.
Yes.
Doon sa parang surface level, tama yung sinabi mo na sobrang intelligently written.
Yes.
Sobrang para siyang yung kung ano yung pagkaka-describe ko dun sa Duyan ng Magiting yesterday. It's another movie that challenges its audience to rise up to its level. Hindi siya magpapander doon sa audience niya na parang ito ba yung sanay kayo? Mas yung pop-ish na datingan ng mga gantong rom-com. Hindi.
It's nothing like that.
And then just when you thought na it has this level of parang yung being so cerebral, it goes another level.
Ang galing nga eh. Yung subversion niya was so natural. It was not cheapened. Hindi siya for the sake of subversion lang.
Oo. Hindi siya yung parang mag-make lang ng kabaliktaran na decision yung mga protagonists natin para lang magkaroon ng usually kasi sa mga kwentong ganito yung mangyayari. Tapos gagawin lang ni girl at ni boy, ganito bigla. Hindi eh. May information eh. Merong mga bagay na nag-i-inform doon sa subversion that will eventually happen in the story.
All their actions were intended to happen.
Talaga.
Walang hindi pinag-isipan.
True.
Kasi just like in real life, pagdating sa social media presence, 'di ba? It's usually manufactured. And somehow you don't know what's real from not. And the movie walks that thin line.
True.
Between what we see and what they want us to see.
Oo. Even goes a level deeper. And it even shows na parang with that level of mask on mask on mask, how do they even see themselves?
True.
Yun pa. And another thing na yung nagustuhan ko about it, personally speaking, kasi I'm a sucker for showing yung parang mga text messaging and yung social media, mga user interface on screen na for many other movies and TV shows. Syempre, ayaw nilang gumawa ng parang something na malapit doon sa mga YouTube, Facebook, etc. Kasi malamang sila doon hit sila for copyright. So kaya nilang sabihin kay YouTube, Facebook na gagamitin namin yung nyo . Now, ito dito sa movie na to, at the beginning pa lang, it cements itself in reality by showing na it's on YouTube. Hindi siya yung parang this imaginary social media platform that so many other rom-coms do dito sa Pilipinas. Yung mga Twitter gagawin nilang Twatter. Yung mga Facebook gagawin nilang Face page, mga ganyan. Pero ito hindi. YouTube is YouTube. Yung interface niya, universally recognized, kita agad. And it's actually very unnerving seeing na something that we've taken so for granted sa buhay. It's unnerving to see na something we take for granted. Like those user interfaces that we see online. It's used in a way that parang makes us question our complicity doon sa parang unraveling ng mga social media influencers like our leads.
Yeah.
Yan.
Especially, yung the way people consume those kind of media. Yung YouTube, yung mga vloggers, yung mga influencers, somehow we trivialize their life struggles. It is entertainment to most people. 'Di ba? Yung mga issues nila sa buhay, yung mga controversies na pinagdadaanan nila. And it affects their psyche in a way kasi it also deals with mental health. Kasi with all the pressures and the struggle to stay relevant in this day and age. Ang hirap i-maintain nung attention. And that attention seeking culture, sobrang pervasive dito sa movie na to.
Tama. Alam mo, meron akong, kanina habang pinapanood natin siya, meron akong naiisip na nakakatawang i-compare sa kanya eh. Yung pinapakitang parang behind the scenes life ng influencer. And how their real and their quote-unquote real REEL life blurs together. But it kind of reminds me of how we consume or how I consume as a wrestling fan, pro wrestling in general. Yan. Na noong panahon nila Hulk Hogan in the 80s, everyone just bought the characters as they were. Na it's Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik. Yung mga ganon na talagang good guy versus bad guy. And everyone was going crazy, cheering for the good guy. And then eventually, dumating tayo sa punto na nagkaroon ng blurring of the what's real and what's not.
May term dun, di ba?
Yung kayfabe. Yes, thank you. Tama. Yan. Na parang ang definition real quick of what kayfabe is. Kayfabe is the quote-unquote constructed reality of pro wrestling. So ngayon kapag sinabi natin na si The Rock, siya yung people's champion, kayfabe yun. Kasi ang totoo, kilala naman natin si Dwayne Johnson. Siya yung movie star.
Yes.
And everything na in that role, on screen, on a wrestling show, yun yung kayfabe. So parang anong nangyayari dito ngayon, yung nagbo-blur yung lines between reality and kayfabe doon sa mismong yung performers. And ang nakakatawa kasi, sobrang parang naging issue din to nung maraming mga wrestlers nung early 2000s, late 90s na mga ganun. Kasi nung panahon na yun, sobrang popular ng pro wrestling.
Yan ba yung Attitude Era?
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yun yung Attitude Era ng WWF pa nun. Yung WWE ngayon. Ngayon, yung sa sobrang laki nila, sobrang popular ng mga stars nila.
Yeah.
Parang paglalabas sila ng bahay, yung mga tao, hindi nila kilala si Dwayne Johnson. Hindi nila kilala si Steve Williams. Ang kilala nila si The Rock at saka si Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
So, may mga point times na parang halimbawa, sasabihin na pag nasa labas sila, in character pa rin dapat. Pero may mga ibang wrestlers na parang sa sobrang in character, yung in character nila yung nagiging real. Yung kung paano sila makitungo sa tao.
Yes.
Yun.
Nagbi-bleed na into reality. Yung persona nila na
Ngayon, eventually, na-booking na may behind the scenes nga yan. Tapos ngayon, ang fun, 80% of the fun of watching wrestling now is trying to reconcile what's on screen with what you read on the internet. Dun sa mga parang mga dirt sheets ang tawag. Yun, may mga parang wrestling rumor news, ganyan. Tapos parang titingnan mo na, okay, so may match si ganito at saka si ganyan this week. So tama yung sinabi ng isang rumor mill kahapon. Yung mga, yun yung fun nun eh. And I think that's where it also relates dun sa parang the audience of these influencers na they go online and then they watch supposedly the reality of the life of these people. Parang eating it up as real, quote unquote, na not knowing pa ba if it's actually reality or carefully constructed din ba siya nung nitong mga tao, nitong mga influencers na to. And I love that this movie goes one step deeper and makes the influencer question if their life is worth it pa ba na parang kung ano yung nasa internet at yung kung ano yung nasa totoo.
They become slaves to that validation and attention.
Yun. It's funny because you mentioned that. Meron isang line doon na sabi na parang it's not wrong to seek validation. Sinabi ni character ni Ashley Ortega.
Si Gemma
Stone. Yes. Na sinabi niya doon kay Khalil Ramos si
James.
Si James. Yan. Sabi niya kay James na parang it's not wrong to seek validation. In theory, tama naman. Okay? Kasi human beings need validation to survive. Basically speaking. Kasi if you're validated para sa tamang ginagawa mo, then it
inspires you
to continue to do the good that you do.
Yes.
Pero kung yung validation niya nanggagaling na dun sa parang you're making a mockery, fool of yourself, and the validation that you get is you see people are getting amusement from you making a fool of yourself.
Or if validation is the only thing that matters to you.
Yes. This script is very smart. It's a very intelligent script. Sabi mo kanina, it's a very, very intelligent script. Kanina actually, knee-jerk reaction, sinabi ko pa, na para siyang The Prestige. Para siyang, what if Christopher Nolan wrote a romantic drama
What if Christopher Nolan wrote Marriage Story?
Yes, oo. Yun. Para siyang may yung elements na kung yung subversion niya, on subversion, which again isn't just yung for the sake of subversion, as well as yun yung kay Nolan, yung gano'n na parang it's turning, the narrative is turning on its head every so often. Pero hindi siya yung parang para lang maganon. Meron pa rin siyang informed pa rin yung pagkaka-twist niya bigla.
Yes.
Tapos yung parang Marriage Story na parang Noah Baumbach, yung reality nung yung rawness.
Heart-wrenching.
Oo.
Grabe. Human experience.
Oo, na parang siyang it's like how people fight. Talagang ganon. Talagang sobrang niyang raw. Sobrang niyang na-remind ako niya nung yung argument scene nila. Yung centerpiece na tong scene na to. Para siyang yung scene ni Scarlett Johansson and ni Adam Driver sa Marriage Story.
Yan, para siyang ganon.
Ganon siya ka-raw. Ganon siya and it's just helped by this absolutely fantastic dialogue.
And the acting din.
And the acting din, sobra. Many props to
Khalil Ramos and Ashley Ortega.
Talaga, sobra. Talagang, please, again, don't let anybody tell you yung story nito. Huwag kayong magpapakwento. Talaga. Seek this movie out. It's unspoiled.
And watching it nga, in retrospect, parang yung rewatchability value niya, di ba sabi mo?
Yun pa.
Ang sarap niyang panoorin ulit.
Ang sarap niya. Oo, kasi parang pagdating mo dun sa dulo, na yung ending is one of the best endings this year na seen.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, pero it's one of the best endings of the year. That ending alone parang makes me want to start the movie all over again and see where the cracks are. Doon
it really recontextualizes it.
Oo, ang bilis niyang magsabi na parang, nahuli mo ba? Parang ganun siya eh.
Meron pa akong isang naaalala na parang pwede ko siyang i-compare eh.
Ano yan?
Yung parang fake reality niya. If you know the series, Kevin Can F Himself.
Ay, yes.
Kasi parang, their online persona is like the sitcom side of Kevin Can F Himself na series. It's on Amazon. And yun nga yung switching niya, yung tonal whiplash niya kapag ka ganun. What happens on screen on their social media platforms and what's happening behind the scenes.
Siguro, yun, bagit mo na naman yung term na yun, yung tonal whiplash. Parang usually medyo negative yung connotation niya in use sa pag-criticize ng sine. Pero I believe that this is one of the few films that actually benefits from the tonal whiplash.
Kasi it's really about that.
Na para siyang it keeps you on your toes.
And it highlights the contrast, the contrasting sides of the story.
Yung what's real
and what's not.
Yes. Basta talagang full disclosure, okay? I was ready to write this one off talaga. Na parang, okay, it's gonna be one of those rom-coms or parang yung mga rom-coms until it's not. Parang siyang 500 Days of Summer, parang ganon. And then it was finished and then I was floored with how I was in the presence of such an intelligent movie.
Yes.
Sobra, talaga.
That's right.
Sobra.
So, yeah.
Ikaw, what did you think of it? Final thoughts?
Just watch it. Don't let anyone spoil it.
Yes.
And experience it the best way possible in the cinema because nakakatuwa yung mga gasp and yung mga talagang general reaction from the audience when they, during that scene, yung centerpiece, yun talaga eh. Parang napaka-propulsive niya and sobra niyang high emotions na pati yung audience sobrang affected.
Parang imaginein ko na lang na nung panahon ng mga heyday nila Maricel, nila Sharon, tsaka nila Edu, nila Albert Martinez, yung mga ganun na mga drama na mga sine. Tapos may mga scene na yung talagang away tapos dialogue lang. Parang feeling ko ganun din kaya yung mga magulang natin nung nanonood sila sa sinihan na talagang sobra nilang hanging on every word, affected emotionally, napapatili, wow, ganun talagang sobrang crowd siya. It had the crowd in the center of its hand, yung scene na to.
Ang galing.
Sobra, talaga.
How about you? What are your final thoughts?
Yeah. I heartily recommend this. Sobra. Talagang
must watch and must rewatch.
Must watch, must rewatch. Ako, if Cinemalaya decides to release Blu-rays of these films, lalo na itong If It's True.
As if it's true,
sorry. Isa to sa mga unang-unang bibilin ko. Talaga, sobra. It deserves a spot in our collection. Yes. For sure. Okay.
So, how about your final thoughts for day 2?
Day 2. Well, personally speaking, it's the best birthday ever for me. And just spending the entire day again in the cinema, just watching greatness. Okay? Even if it's not really for me yung ganon, I can still fully appreciate how great everything was. Yung craft, what went into it, yung art, yung artistry, meaning yung acting, etc.
Yeah.
Talagang I am in awe of how creative and how much potential there is for these filmmakers to create more amazing films like what we've watched so far. Sobra. And if I were again to rank, siguro yung parang watch first and then pwede yung ihuli, siguro. Ako, ang watch first ko is As If It's True. And ang next is Itima Pukpukaw. And then pwede yung ihuli, yung Rookie. Pero if you're a fan of volleyball or yung mga ganong super cheesy rom-coms, pwede nyo, sige, unahin nyo yun. Para medyo light muna. Ikaw, what do you think?
Yeah. The cinephile in me is very satisfied right now, having those 6 movies in a row for 2 days.
Yes.
Sobrang, what an experience. And I can't wait for the last 4 movies that we will watch tomorrow.
Oo.
Yeah.
Actually, watch today na. Kasi, August 10 na.
Yes.
Yes. So, this episode will release later today. This morning.
Yeah.
Okay, but for the rest of the day, we're gonna be watching yung tama ka nga, the last 4 of the 10 main films in contention.
So yeah, that's it for Day 2 of Cinemalaya 2023. Cine Geeks, if you've seen any one or all of these movies, please share with us what you thought about it. Comment it on our social media. Again, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Cine Geeks Pod. Join us once again tomorrow as we talk about 4 more movies for Cinemalaya 2023.
Yes, home stretch run, last 4. Let's go.
And for my co-host Troy, birthday boy, this has been Angela. Thank you for listening to the Cine Geeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.